Hey everyone, welcome in episode 6 of my CX update. Just like many of you, I went to see Top Gun. In all honesty, I actually went to see it twice because I was so super excited. I'm a big Tom Cruise fan. I was a big fan of the first movie. But now, seeing the second one, I thought it was even better than the first one. I'm really excited. It was like a long time ago that I was so thrilled to be in the movie theater. So if you haven't seen it, I can highly recommend it to you. But I also learned something from it. If you look at the excitement in the world, this is one of the best performing movies in human history. And if you make the analysis of the film, it's quite exceptional. It's pure 100% feel good. There are no bad guys. And if there's a bad guy, you cannot even see who it is, but there's no bad guy. It's like a fake enemy that they're fighting. And then, of course, the nostalgia. When Tom Cruise takes his leather jacket out of the closet, when he takes his motorbike, the music, it gives people goosebumps. Huh? And of course, Tom Cruise is the ultimate hero that you have. So it's simple, old-fashioned feel good. And the fact, for instance, that they don't try to outsmart the audience makes it so easy to digest that people really enjoy it. And this is something we haven't seen for a while. If you look to all the other shows on Netflix and films that come out, they try to do the opposite. And this is something that scores really well. It has an extremely high feedback and review score, this film. And it has already become, or it is already now, the most successful Tom Cruise film in history. And this is something to think about. I'm more and more convinced that we need more positivity in the world, and Top Gun is like the example of positivity. Even the fact that they're shooting with planes all the time, it is a positive, feel-good film. And we need to create positivity with impact. I think that's what we're lacking in the world of customer experience. Look at the evolution of work. In the past, people worked with their hands. Today, people work with their brain. In the future, people that want to make a difference will have to work from the heart to create that feel-good thing. And a couple of months ago, I was in LA, and I met the founder of this company, of Every Table. And they have this great mission statement. What they want to do is they want to make sure that every American citizen can have access to a healthy meal at a low cost. Usually in the States, when you have neighborhoods with lower incomes, you find fast food places all over the place. So people go there because it's a cheap solution. But it's not always healthy to eat that, as frequent as some people do. So what they want to do at Every Table is they go to the neighborhoods with lower incomes, and the price of a lunch, of a meal, has to be lower than the price of a Big Mac meal, just to make sure that people can have a healthy alternative, which is a brilliant mission. And they're playing that in everything that they do. Like, I like their pay it forward mentality. When you walk in and you buy a meal, you can also buy a meal for someone else. And then you get a Post-it. You put the Post-it on the window on the outside. And then, for instance, when a homeless person comes by or someone who doesn't have a lot of money, they can take the Post-it, walk in, and consume the meal that you bought for them. And another thing that I like about their positivity is their Every Table University. Like, if you look to the people who own and who run the McDonald's, usually those are successful business people. They already did something that made them successful, so they generated the cash to have the ability to invest in a McDonald's restaurant, which is a cool concept. But that means that if you have a lower income, that you can never work yourself up to being a McDonald's owner. At Every Table, what they want to do is they want to make sure that people from lower income neighborhoods don't only have access to a healthy meal, they also want to give them access to become the owner of one of their restaurants, one of their stores. And they work together with the government to get subsidized in that, but they also train their people, give them cheap loans to make it happen. And those kind of stories are examples for me of working from the heart. And people enjoy those stories. These are successful businesses because it gives us a warm feeling. And this is what we need more in customer experience. It's not just about getting the processes right. It's about installing a warm feeling, that positivity with impact. And from now on, I'm going to call that the Top Gun effect. That was the feel-good moment that really convinced me that we need more positivity in this world. One of the questions that I get a lot is, Stephen, how can we install a customer culture? There are a lot of companies who really focus on trying to do good for the customer, and they optimize their processes, but still they have the feeling that they don't have that customer culture. And I just have one very simple tip to get a better customer culture. And I'm going to oversimplify here, so don't get me wrong. I know it's much more complex than what I'm going to talk about, but my tip of the day to have a stronger customer culture is just to say yes more often. Sometimes we forget that you can also say yes to a question when a question comes in. You always have a choice. And I see so many organizations that put all their energy in trying to find an argument why they should say no. Or, a question from a customer comes in and it's a little bit a sidetrack. It's not what you're used to do. The first reaction is, do I really need to do this? And then we look for arguments to say no. We put our energy into finding a polite way to say no. What if you use that same energy to figure out a way how to make it happen and to help the customer further? It's like we all have been there, that you're in the airport, you're a little bit early, you can get on an earlier flight, and you ask them, can I get on an earlier flight? 90% of the time the answer is no. And they come up with an excuse like you have the wrong ticket or it's a full flight. Why don't they say yes more often? When you go to a hotel and you're with a family and you say, can we have 2 rooms close to each other, please? Some say yes, some say, it depends, it's going to be very difficult, it's an extra charge. You can say yes to questions. And the easiness that we have to say no, I think that should change in the mentality to try to figure out how to say yes. And I know that we cannot say yes to everything. I mean, when someone is asking for something illegal, of course we're going to say no. When they ask for something that is unrealistic, we're going to say no. Or when it's not fair, or when they want to take advantage of you, you can say no. That's perfectly fine. But today, in too many organizations, no is the standard answer. And we forget that yes is also an option. And this is my tip, if you want to create a customer culture and a question comes in, even if it's a strange one, just consider the option of saying yes. And the more you say yes, and the more customers will feel that positive intent, you will be surprised of what kind of doors will open for you. You will be surprised of what kind of positive energy you will get back. The word yes can be a game changer for your company. It's probably time to reevaluate our interfaces. A lot of these digital interfaces have been around for more than a decade. And truth is, they are changing rapidly in certain parts of the world. Look at TikTok. And my feeling is that it's time to TikTok'ise our interfaces. We have a whole new generation of people that are getting used to working and playing with the very easy, fast, and personalized interface that TikTok has. I mean, if you compare the TikTok interface with how you search on Google, I mean, this looks pretty old-fashioned. And if you look to the real estate industry, if you want to find a home, I mean, you need to go to all these advertisements. If you're on Netflix, I mean, it's not that easy to find what you need. There's even something that it's called the Netflix syndrome. On average, it takes upon 40 minutes to find a new show. That's because the interface probably isn't what it should be anymore. And if you then compare that with the interface of TikTok, and a lot of people are still cynical about it, especially 40+ people tend to be cynical. But I invite you, if you haven't used it, just spend some time on TikTok. And do that every day in the week. And after a while, the algorithm will get to know you, and you will see how addicting it can become and how fun it can be. And this is something we have to take with us to reinvent interfaces for our customers. This is going to be the future. An interface by itself will not be enough. You need the interface plus the algorithm behind it that can lift your experience to the next level. In the past 10 years, this was my motto, right? I was talking about you need to be fast, easy, and fun. And TikTok is fast, easy, and fun, but there's also one element on top of that, and that is personalization. They go beyond that. It's fast, it's easy, it's fun, but thanks to the algorithm that knows you really, really well, really, really fast, the personalization item really makes a difference. And I'm convinced if we don't change our interfaces rapidly in, let's say, the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to miss out on an entire generation that is now being trained to use interfaces in a completely different way. So that's why I would say it's time to Tik-Tok'ise our interfaces. So guys, this was episode 6 of my monthly CX update. I hope you enjoyed the 3 items from this video. If you did, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it on your network, share it with your friends. That would mean the world to me. I'm going to take a summer break now, and at the end of September, we're going to have episode 7 of your monthly CX update. Enjoy your summer. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all your support, and see you again in September. Bye-bye.